What's up, everybody? Welcome to Jack's Junkyard, Season 1, Episode 8. I am your host, Jack Kiesling. This is my show, and I'm excited to bring it to you. You might notice the show looks a little bit different. I upped my game and got a green screen. Booyah! On today's show, we're going to feature some really cool stuff. I have an exclusive interview to bring for you with the entirety of the band Glass Helix. These guys were an absolute blast to sit down with. They're super funny, super intelligent, very engaging. It's going to be a great interview. We're also going to feature a recap of this season's contestants on the Junkyard's Got Talent. That video is super fun. There's a lot of cool stuff in it, and all of those contestants are super wanting you to support them as they get ready to go into the playoffs, which starts in just 4 weeks. All right. We also have a bunch of current good news stories. Probably the last AMA that we'll ever do. That's Ask Me Anything, right? Probably, maybe, who knows? And also, Kelly Pippin won a story contest, sort of, kind of. You'll have to stick around to find out how that is. All right. So before we get started with the show, I just want to shout out to my brother, Mike Fuqua, and his wife, Lacey, and their daughter, Kinsley, and their soon-to-be daughter, Paisley. So these guys are going through it, man. It's been rough. So they found out a while ago that they were pregnant with their second child, their daughter, Paisley, and all was going well. It's great. Unfortunately, during routine testing, they found out that Paisley has spina bifida. For those of you that don't know what that is, look it up. It's a very serious condition that affects baby's spine and could potentially cause lifelong issues for that child. So, wanting the best life possible for their child, Mike and Lacey decided to have an experimental in utero surgery to correct the baby's issue. That's fine. Great. Surgery went awesome. Things are looking up. Unfortunately, mommy's water broke way too soon. So now, Lacey has to be in the hospital until the baby's born, and they're trying to keep that off as long as possible. Many of you know the best place for an infant to develop, or for an unborn child to develop, is in the womb. So they want to prevent premature birth. Very scary situation for them. Let me tell you a little bit about these people. First of all, they're some of our closest friends. Lacey was a bridesmaid for my wife at our wedding. Mike was my best man. I was honored to officiate their wedding, and their daughter, Kinsley, was born on my birthday, making her my sacred buddy. These people are very important to us. They are the kindest folks you could ever meet, and Mike is one of the most hardworking, honest men I've ever met in my life. There are not that many people like them on this planet. So my heart goes out to them. All of my thoughts and prayers are with them. You guys know we love you, and you know we'll do anything for you. So keep pressing on. As you say, you're going for gold with this one. Love you guys. You know, I think about the struggle that is life sometimes, and even the struggle just to create new life. I think a lot about artists and how they struggle to really get their music career or their painting career or their poetry or writing or whatever they're trying to do out into the world. It's not an easy thing. One of the bands out there that's really making a name for themselves in spite of all the struggles brought on by 2020 is Glass Helix. Recently, I got an opportunity to sit down with the entire band for a Zoom interview, and let me tell you what, these guys are amazing. Let's take a look and listen and see what they have to say. Good evening. Welcome to Junkyard Interviews. I'm your host, Jack Kiesling. Sitting down with me tonight is the entirety of the band Glass Helix out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. You may remember we interviewed their lead vocalist, Thomas, 2 weeks ago. Now, we're blessed to have the entire band with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Glass Helix. Guys, take a minute to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Thomas. I'm the singer.
I'm Tom. I play bass.
I'm Jack Nicholson. I played the Joker in Batman in 1990.
I am Matthew Olson. I'm the drummer.
Okay, so for the viewers out there, Matthew Olson, the drummer, was having some trouble getting into the Zoom call. And so the delightful Matthew King suggested that the drummer should be replaced with a Casio keyboard. So how did you guys find each other? How did that all come to be?
Well, no, I'll tell you the true story. The true story is, as I was looking up for some hookers on Craigslist, trying to find the right ones, and I saw this redheaded, beauty, didn't show the face, just the hair, and I was like, whoa. Further down the line, you find out it's actually his goatee, not head hair. But, I found him on Craigslist, and I did not want to try him out for a long time. He kept bugging me. All because he sent me a video of him singing along to the song like this, La, and it sounded horrible. And one day I was just like, you know what? Dude, come over. And when he came over, we recorded him like right then and there on the spot. I was like, I'm putting you on the spot. Let's do this, dude. And Tom's like, okay, let's do this. And dude, he nailed it. And he was amazing. I was blown away. Like, so never trust audio from a phone ever again. Tom was the next person. And I don't know how I found Tom. He was kind of in my friends list on Facebook.
I've been in several bands. I'm still in several bands, but I've been in, like, Anodize was one of my biggest ones from around there. We did quite a bit of stuff, some touring and everything. You know, just a little bit here and there, but I've been around for a while.
Nice. Okay. All right. So you know the business.
The problem with bass players is they're in 9 other bands. Always.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bass players. and
There's
drummers.
actually, yeah, bass player and drummers.
So
Well, no, because Tom blew me off. So
Oh.
Tom gave me the Thomas treatment and blew me off for a while. And he was like, yeah, I'll come hang out with you. And then, he was like, I'm tired of jamming with your Casio drummer. We need a real drummer. So we put out an ad for a real drummer. And lo and behold, Matthew, who
And lo and behold, they found that keyboard that they were talking about earlier.
Yep, out of the closet from the 80s. Still
Okay.
had my ET sticker on it.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. I've listened to all of your stuff a bunch, and I know that Matthew is vastly superior to that Casio keyboard. I know it. So you can't fool me.
Well, that's because we upgraded to an Elisa's keyboard.
Oh.
It has a couple of extra buttons that I can press, you know.
Oh, that's where you get the double bass kick from, right? Yeah. What's your favorite song?
My favorite song is Wake Up.
Why?
Wake Up is a song that I've had for a long time. And as Matt was mentioning, it was very drum heavy. And that's because my buddy, before I moved out here, did the drums to that song. Zeus, shut up. Thank you.
I'm not editing.
So it's a very heavy drum song, and Wake Up was before I even thought of doing this band with Thomas or anything like that. And Wake Up was just a song that never got used for anything, never got anywhere. And once Thomas came in and made lyrics to it, it became a whole new entity. And really, that's the song that started off Glass Helix.
I would have to say our newest one, Control, just simply because I really love heavy music, and especially that one because it has a nice feel to it, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with
And
you. on
a
that.
really strong message, too.
I'd have to say my favorite's probably Fragile Existence, just because I'm a sucker for those hooks and those catchy choruses like that. So
Yeah.
that song just kind of, that, and as well as just the song itself kind of touches base with me, because day to day we do live fragile existences, and it's just a good song.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Great song.
Side note, Tom left the band for a minute. And when Fragile Existence came out, he was like, dude, how you doing? What's up? What's going on?
He's literally like the boyfriend who breaks up with the girl, and then like 6 months later he gets bored and he's like, hey, how you doing?
That's exactly what he did.
My favorite, and will always be a favorite, and since Tom already took Fragile Existence, I would have to say Wither. I'm a sucker for the slower, heavier songs and kick-ass solos. So that song has all of it. That's my favorite.
Matt is the conscience of the band. And I'm like the devil on the right hand shoulder. And Thomas is like the angel on the left hand shoulder. And Tom Davis is just like, yep, we can do that.
It's funny because every now and then I get a little hard on myself, and I don't think I'm, that good enough. I'm not supporting the band as much as I should be. And these guys are always there to, say that I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from my entirely uneducated opinion, you're a phenomenal drummer. So,
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you should not be replaced with a Casio keyboard.
If we can make someone have a better day just because they got to listen to our song and it cheered them up or brought them through something, I think that's winning in my book.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Matthew's very he's quite the performer.
Okay.
He moves around all the time. Sometimes I worry about getting hit in the head by a guitar.
I mean, it has happened.
It has. I hit somebody with the headstock on my bass once, and thought I knocked him out. One of my guitar players, he took the headstock right to the back of the head, and I thought he was gone. But he just turned around and looked at me and kept screaming into the mic, so it worked.
And we know drummers whip sticks into the crowd all the time.
It's a dangerous game out there, man.
Yeah, man. You don't come to a metal show to be safe, though. Let's be real, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That is the
Chris
truth.
he asked me the other day on social media. He was like, how do you mosh pit? And I was like, look, it's really easy. Enter pit, destroy. It's really not complicated.
Or metal is literally like, let's swing arms, and where they land, who gives a damn?
Yep.
That's exactly what a metal pit is. But you know what? It's also the brotherhood too, because anytime someone falls down, they are picked up right away. And that's a huge important thing for anyone that's going to a metal show. If I was going to encourage them, have fun, get crazy, get rowdy, but remember to look out for your other metal brothers.
Yep. Favorite moment of your time together in Glass Helix so far? Let's start with Matthew Olson.
I suppose it was on the stage after a performance, and the crowd was going wild. They loved us. We put on a really good performance, and shout out to Sunshine Studios Live for that, and providing us that opportunity. And afterwards, we took a photo, and it was just amazing. That we were out there playing our music, and the fans loved us, and they didn't want us to leave.
My favorite moment's just getting to share music with my buddies and hanging out, practice space. Even when I was going to the shows when I wasn't in the band, and supporting them live and hanging out, just that being together. I don't know what that is.
That would be a foot. This show just took a note.
Yeah, just that sharing that music together and getting the goosebumps and that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to point out to all the viewers that are watching this is exactly what a metal band is like. You'll have one person saying something very insightful and meaningful, and the guitarist is shoving his toes into somebody's face. Yep. All right, frontman, favorite moment.
My favorite moment was at the Head PE show. We took a picture at the end of our show with the crowd behind us, which is always awesome. I love seeing that. But the funny thing about that picture is Matthew King got hurt. He hurt his knee, and you could just see the agony in his face, but he's trying to keep it together and give us a half-assed grin. And then you look over, and everybody just gets more happier as you look at the picture, except for this guy.
Oh yeah, you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So
he hurt himself. Yeah, he did an amazing jump, but he didn't land it correctly. So he kind of twisted his knee a little bit, and ever since then, we had a live recording of it, and when that happened, fun ended for him. It was oh my God, let's just get through the song,
Dude, typical lead guitarist, man.
We had 3 more songs to get through too, and if you could watch any of those clips of the last song, you'll see me, and it looks like I'm doing a power stance, but I'm actually using the PA speaker to help keep my knee bent because it hurts so bad. And then my strap broke and wasn't no longer holding my guitar, so I threw it over my head and acted like I was playing that and threw it around. And then when I walked up the stage, I threw it over my shoulder. It looked so freaking cool, but I was in so much pain that I actually went to the ER the next day because of it. I want to shout out to our soon-to-be new YouTube show that we're going to be putting on soon called Glass Helix Shenanigans. And our first episode will be trying out this beer called Warhead beer. So if you ever remember the Warhead candy that is super sour, we found this brewery in New York that made a beer based off those candies. And we are going to be trying that with hopefully some of the guys of Fall from Silence. And we'll let you know how it goes. Either that or we're going to give Thomas is going to try a spicy chip while I shock him with some shocking device.
No, that was never discussed, okay? I don't think we should do that together. I'm down with the chip and doing the shocking maybe separately.
No.
But
No,
like
we're
eating
gonna
a
shock
hot
you.
chip and then
Every
getting
time you try to
shocked
throw up,
is
we're shocking you.
overkill,
That's
bro. Overkill.
That's what we're doing. No, you signed up. This is what happened when you signed up for this band. You said you were going to get shocked.
That was never in the contract. I will dispute that all day.
I'm just saying, President Bush almost died in office choking on a chip in the White House. Do you really want to kill your lead vocalist?
See what could happen.
We got to cast
A spicy chip at that.
Vocalist lives matter, gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so new show coming up on YouTube. Is that going to be on the same channel? Different?
It'll be on our same channel. It'll just be a monthly addition to what we've been doing. So it's just not all music videos. We want you guys to get to know who we are and see that we're just four fun, loving guys that care about each other very much to the point that we have to shock each other while you eat a spicy chip.
Yeah, yeah. And
You find
gentlemen,
something for you to do. Watch.
I have a great idea.
No, I'm the guitar player. I got to be safe.
All you got to do is put Matthew King in front of a Casio keyboard and then shock him every time he says something dumb.
Yes. Play.
All right. Let's see.
I bet that'd be one of the coolest Glass Helix songs that would ever come out.
We're doing it.
Oh Lord! All right, Tom Davis, Matthew Olson. Anything you want to shout out before we finish up?
I just want to say thanks to all of our fellow music, scene friends and family and everybody that supports us, and thanks for everything, and we appreciate it, and can't wait to see you again when this COVID stuff clears up.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, definitely our fans. We could not be here without you. And yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for sitting down with me tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Guys, make sure you check out Glass Helix. They are on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the things. All the things. Go follow these guys. They're awesome. If you don't, I'm going to hate you forever. Just keep that in mind. Man, that was probably one of the most fun interviews that I've ever had the pleasure of doing. And I've had a lot of really cool interviews on the show. But just having the whole band in there, and obviously Matthew King is a laugh fest. The guy is hilarious. And everybody else in the band, super, super awesome personalities that they bring in to form this really powerful metal act. So, something else in my life that has got a ton of power to energize and entertain like that is Rip It Energy Fuel. Yeah. Jack's Junkyard is officially powered by Rip It Energy Fuel, and so am I. Anyway, so, check out Glass Helix on all the social medias, right? Check them out on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, whatever music platform you use. These guys are amazing. And they're one of those metal bands that, they're not the crazy side of metal, right? So a lot of times when we say metal music, and I say it all the time because I'm a metalhead, so I'm out in the world and people are like, what kind of music you listen to, Jack? And I'm like, metal. And they're like, well, like Ozzy Osbourne biting the head off a bat? Look, I'm not saying Matthew King would never bite the head off a bat, but I can tell you they would never do it on stage, and their music isn't like that. It's not satanic. It's not, crazy like that. It's good metal music, right? With, heavy instruments and screaming and the whole deal. But their lyrics are really uplifting and positive, and they say a lot about the current human condition. So check these guys out. They're gonna be huge. I feel it in my bones, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking out another edition of Junkyard Interviews. Stand by for these messages from your local television provider. Deanna Hawkins is a retired U.S. Army soldier and Medal of Honor recipient enjoying the quiet life of an artist in Portland, Oregon. Without her knowledge, documents proving diabolical manipulation of the American people, perpetrated by the government, fall into her lap. Forced to run for her life, Deanna must work with unlikely companions to deliver the files to the people. Sinister forces strive to stop her, while an unknown guardian angles for her success. This success could result in the Second American Civil War, while failure could cement the power of tyrants for generations to come. Under the weight of that knowledge, Deanna Hawkins will discover what it means to walk the thin red line between duty and death.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The News.
Good evening, Junkyard. Welcome to Junk in the News. Tonight, our first story, 1500s, right? The 1500s. A time in the world where, we often call it the Dark Ages. There's a lot of craziness going on. We don't have a ton of archaeological information about a lot of the daily life that was happening during that period. But now we do. Thanks to a $7.8 million roof renovation taking place on the Oxford Hall, which is located in England, we have found rare treasures, some dating back to that storied century, the 1500s. These treasures were unearthed during the renovation, and they found more than 2,000 items. Okay? Some of them feature Elizabethan era and Georgian era textiles and embroidery, which is super rare and really hard to come by. Okay? They found 450-year-old handwritten music sheets. Crazy. They don't even know who they're by, but 450 years old handwritten sheets of music. They also found pages from a book that was published in 1568. What? Crazy, right? They found a copy of the Book of Psalms from the Bible that was used this brilliant blue ink and was embellished with gold leaf on the page. They found pages from that, not the whole thing. Super, super cool. They're hoping that as this renovation project continues, they'll find more artifacts that will clue them into what life was like for those living in that building and in the area during that time. Really exciting stuff that gives us a lot of insight into how people lived during that time. Now, interestingly enough, during this renovation, they also found things in that same space under those floorboards dating back to World War II. So not unlikely that there was possibly some illegal tenants in that building at various points in time. They found empty cigarette packs, stuffed up under the floorboards and things like that. So potentially hiding the evidence of their occupancy. They're not really sure where those things came from, but very, very, very interesting stuff. So all these types of things are popping up all over the place. These new archaeological discoveries and, finding shipwrecks. And we talk about this stuff a lot on the show. Here's why it matters. Okay? We have a really hard time proving what history was like. You read a history book and it seems like factual information, but then you read a different history book about the same topic and it contradicts the first. So what's real, right? Part of the reason for that being is we take the information and the artifacts that we have access to, and then we have to make certain interpolations of those things or judgments based off the information that we have. We're making assumptions. The more information, the more archaeology and artifacts that we can find, the more accurate our assumptions will be. The more accurately we understand our history, the more we can see what led to this event or what did this event cause, and the more we can see those effects in our life today. So really exciting stuff there. For our next story, a woman who was the first to complete a really hardcore triathlon. The woman that you see on the screen is Andrea Mason, and she was the first woman to complete the Sea to Summit Triathlon in the French Alps. Now, this is a brutal, brutal race, ladies and gentlemen. It starts out with swimming the circumference of Lake Annie, which is 23 miles around. Then you cycle 205 miles and run 105 miles to reach the summit of Mount Blanc. Now, the last 4,000 feet of that climb are near vertical. So we say run, but really you're climbing for dear life. Now, many people have finished this triathlon in the past, but never has a woman successfully completed the event. Miss Andrea Mason was the first female to do so, completing the event in 4 days, 23 hours, and 41 minutes. So just shy of that 5-day mark. A really, really impressive time and a really impressive feat in and of itself. What makes this situation even more impressive for Miss Mason is that back in 2017, she was diagnosed with cervical cancer and endometriosis. Both of those things very, very serious. Now, after a surgery and treatments and stuff, she's been able to beat that cervical cancer. But consider that was only 3 years ago that she went through this big fight. Now, based on my research, I haven't found out when she was, able to complete that fight, but even the beginning of it was 3 years ago. And to be able to get in shape and be able to complete this triathlon 3 years after a very serious cancer diagnosis is incredible. Now let's talk about endometriosis. This is something that's not talked about a whole lot, but it's something that people need to know about. Endometriosis is a very, very serious illness that affects a lot of people. It's estimated that there are more than 3 million cases in the US alone every year. It's a lot of women affected. Essentially what it is a medical condition that causes extremely painful menstrual cycles for women. There are a lot of thoughts on how to treat it, but nobody's come up with a cure yet. Right? Now, this is something that's important to me because I remember as a non-commissioned officer in the military, I had a female soldier who complained a lot about, menstrual pain. And, being an NCO, and needing to get the mission done, I'm like, look, you and every other female in the Army have menstrual cycles. The mission don't stop, deal with it, right? Now, as I'm older and learning things about life and able to have candid conversations with people about stuff like this, I realize that it's possible that that soldier had endometriosis and that not all menstrual cycles are the same for all women. So, if you don't have a menstrual cycle, like myself, you need to keep a more open mind about what these people are going through. I don't know what that's like. I don't know how bad it hurts or how debilitating that situation can be. And for my female viewers out there, man, talk to your doctor, because this is one of those things that you could deal with it for years and years and years and not know it. And so you're having these very painful periods and you don't know, why or what's happening. You do your best to treat it. But man, I know so many females out there that like when they hit their cycle, it takes them out for days at a time, and you shouldn't have to live that way. So go talk to your doctor and see, maybe endometriosis is what's affecting you, and maybe they can treat it. The most common treatments for it are hormone supplements that help, your body regulate what it's supposed to do. Also, on a side note, if you're a man and you're uncomfortable with me talking about this on my show, you need to check yourself because, I don't know, half the population of the planet deals with this. So I don't know, just a thought. Okay, so hormone therapy is the typical treatment. Sometimes they'll do a surgical intervention if they feel like that's the best option, and so on and so forth. So talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor. All right, on to the next. Oh man, I love elephants. I love elephants so much. You guys may have noticed that I posted an elephant appreciation video this week. I love elephants, and I get really excited when countries do things to protect elephants. The nation of Zimbabwe has just done such a thing, okay? For the first time in the nation's history, they have canceled all mining contracts in national park areas. Now, if you know anything about the nation of Zimbabwe, you know that a huge chunk of that country is designated as national parks. In recent years, starting in 2014, they signed agreements with Chinese mining companies to mine for coal and gold all over the country. This was a necessary step for the nation at that time because they were dealing with a huge inflation in the ballpark of 737% of their national currency inflation rate, which is just unbelievable, right? This is not a wealthy nation, okay? So the mining contracts brought a lot of money into the country that was desperately needed to help right their economy and help their people prosper. Well, fortunately, as time has gone by, tourism in Zimbabwe has increased in a massive, massive rate, providing a lot of income into the nation that kind of negates the need for these mining contracts. So they've now canceled them, all of them, gone, done. This is really important because the areas that they're mining, right, are home to some really important populations. Estimated 40,000 elephants live in these areas, as well as a population of very endangered black rhinos. They also have leopards out there and painted dogs. All of these animals very important for the ecosystem and very, very beautiful creatures that have a right to live unmolested in their habitat. So really big deal. The concern, of course, when you cancel mining contracts with a major nation is, will there be any retaliation? Will there be any, political upheaval or anything like that? But both nations have assured both each other and the globe that they're not going to change their posture towards each other. There's no tensions about it. Both nations understand the very delicate situation involved in the preservation of wildlife, and they're happy to be making sure that these populations are able to continue thriving and prospering in these national park zones. There are a lot of other areas that they can conduct mining that aren't home to such beautiful and important creatures. So man, I love seeing elephants be protected, and black rhinos are gorgeous and super endangered, so that's awesome too. I don't know what a painted dog looks like, but I love all dogs, so there we go, right? So really good move. Props to Zimbabwe for making a smart choice. Last story for today. The gentleman that you see on your screen is 11-year-old Cartier Carey, right? And he lives in Hampton, Virginia. Now, 11 years old. Pretty young age. Normal 11-year-olds probably be, playing cops and robbers in the backyard with sticks, playing a little Xbox here or there, making finger painting. Maybe not finger paintings. They're a little old for finger paintings. Yeah. I love finger paintings too, but yeah, so normal 11-year-olds, right? They're probably playing hoops and, maybe a little backyard baseball, something like that. But not this young man. So Cartier Carey, he's one of these young men that he sees the world for what it is. He's been described as a very observant young man. Well, he went to visit his grandmother, who lives in a pretty impoverished community in Hampton, Virginia, and he saw a lot of single mothers struggling to survive in that area, so he decided to do something about it. What did he do? He opened a lemonade stand. What? A lot of kids open lemonade stands. That's not that big a deal. Wrong. Here's why. Because he didn't take the money from his lemonade stand and buy himself a new pair of shoes or a fancy video game or anything like that. No. What he did is he took all the money generated from his lemonade stand and he bought diapers and wipes and other essentials for single mothers. Okay? To date, he has been able to accumulate and donate 22,000 diapers. Let me say that again. 22,000 diapers that this young man has been able to pay for and donate to families in need. That's a big deal. He's 11 years old. This is also not the first charitable thing that he's done. Okay, previously, he launched a program called Cardi Packs, right? Use the hashtag Cardi Packs on Facebook to find more. These are care packages for the homeless that include all kinds of essentials that they need. Gloves, hand warmers, socks, hygiene items, things like that they just give to homeless people. Yeah, this kid did that. Really, really cool stuff. Very, very amazing young man. He also, last year, founded Kids for Change, which is a nonprofit that he uses to handle all of the tax liability and everything else for what he does. Really, really impressive stuff. All the time we talk about making a difference in the world and being a force for positive change out there, and there's always excuses and reasons why we can't. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to indict anybody when I say that, because I make the excuses too. But the reality of it is, gentlemen like this right here that you see on your screen are the leaders who are proving us wrong when we say that we can't do whatever, right? Many of you know that I'm also very closely paying attention to an organization called the Fresh Boys Club, who operates in the town where I live. And these young men raise boys to become better leaders. They do a ton of community service. They do a lot of awesome stuff. There are young men in that organization that are 8, 9 years old and are out there changing the world, just like Cartier Carey, right? So if you want to see the world change, make it so. That's what it is. So man, Mr. Carey, you are an incredible human being, and I'm proud to feature you on the show. Best of luck to you in everything that you do. And guys, check out hashtag CartiPacks. That's CartiPacks on Facebook to learn more about this young man's story. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Junk in the News.
The Fists of Arkan is the debut novel by author Jack Kiesling. Action, adventure, and personal challenges are the focal point of this immersive book set against a backdrop of war. Deep character development and wide perspectives explore social issues relevant to the real world. Dive in and discover the answer to the age-old question faced by leaders many. What kind of royal will you be? This is a paid advertisement for Jack Kiesling Books and the Fist of Arkin.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time for What's Up in Arkin. So many of you are aware that I'm currently working on issuing a second edition of the Fist of Arkin, just cleaning it up, blah, blah, blah. I've talked about it every week for the last couple of weeks. That project is going well. I'm about a third of the way done with it. Another few weeks and I'll have it finished up and out there for you. That's awesome. That's not exciting. Let me talk about what is exciting, okay? So I was recently selected at work to launch a pilot program that would stretch over about 5 weeks period of time for this pilot class that I'm teaching. I'm the first one to ever facilitate it. I'm coming up with a majority of the content on my own, which is super exciting. It's not a freedom that we're normally given in my company. Usually we're provided the content detailed out, and then we, put it into our own words, give it our own flair, and then deliver it. Right? Well, let me tell you what I've learned about myself doing this pilot program. Here's what I have found. My creativity is far bigger than my brain. Maybe I said that wrong. My creativity is far bigger than what I have attainable in front of me. Right? I come up with all these super cool ideas and I'm like, oh, this would really land this point and this would make them go, wow, and they would really want to pay attention, except that I only have a limited amount of time to facilitate these sessions. So I'm learning about myself that I really have to be selective in what I choose to put out there, right? And in a certain sense, I do the same thing with this show. I've had so many crazy ideas over the last, almost 2.5 years that I've been doing this show of what I could do, and how I could entertain and who I could bring on and how I could change the show to make it more fun. But I have to be selective about where I spend my time and energy. That thought process led me into another thought. Life is like that, man. We think about all the things that we try to accomplish in our lives day in and day out, and we've got to learn how to pick and choose where to spend our energy, where it's going to be the most fulfilling for us, the most beneficial for our families, the most beneficial for the world, right? Now, many of you know I'm involved in a lot of stuff. I have my day job where I teach for a living. I work 10 to 11 hours a day, sometimes 12, and I live 2 hours from my office. So what that means is that I'm engaged in work at least 14 hours a day every day. On top of that, I publish 2 novels in a year, and I also do this show, and then I'm involved in other stuff outside of this. I do social media marketing for a couple of different businesses. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. I don't say all of that to you so you can be like, wow, Jack, you're amazing, because let's be real, I'm not, right? I've said it a million times before. I'm nothing special. I'm just a goofy kid from the mountains who tries to make a living writing books. The reason I tell you all of that is I've come to a point in my life where I realize that I'm burning the candle on both ends and straight down the middle at the same time, right? I'm burnt out. And on top of that, I got to try to find time to spend time with my wife, play with my dogs, play with my cat because he's getting fat, you know what I mean? And, call my family and do all these other things that are important in my life. And so you got to start cutting stuff out. You've got to focus your energy on the things that really matter. And I see that a lot in my friends as well. They're going 9 million different directions, but very few of those directions are paying it back. So I would ask you to take a moment and think about the things you spend your time and energy on in your life. Where do you invest yourself? And are those things investing back into you? Are they adding to your world? Right? We have to be able to let go of things that aren't benefiting us, our families, or the world. Now, to be fair, sometimes you make investments in the future, right? Like this show, right? This show doesn't make me any money. I don't get paid for this, right? Yeah, I'm officially powered by Rip It, but, that doesn't mean they send me a check. That's not how that works, okay? Right? How this works is I'm making an investment in the future. There will be a time when I've got 1 million subscribers on YouTube, right? And YouTube pays me a bundle of cash for this show, and that'll be great, but I'm not there yet. It's an investment in the future. It's also an investment in all of you. My fondest hope for every single show is that I go live and I say something that sticks with you guys through the week and makes your week a little bit better, or causes you to think differently about somebody that maybe you didn't like before, or whatever the case may be. That's what I want this show to do. So it's an investment, right? So not all investments pay back right now. But if it's not going to pay you back at some point, or if it's not going to make the world a better place, we've got to be willing to let it go. Yeah, that's just my thoughts, right? That's what's up in Arkin, is me thinking about what am I not, getting a benefit out of? What am I investing myself into that's not paying me, my family, or the world back? Maybe it's time to let some of that stuff go, right? So that's what's up in Arkin this week. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You may notice that the title above you is the same title that we had for the story contest last week. And you're like, what? Yeah. So here's the deal. Just prior to the show's launch, Kelly Pippin posted a story and I didn't see it. Yeah, I didn't see it. I looked at the timestamp on it. He posted it before the deadline, and I didn't see it. It also had a number of reacts on it. So he didn't get the credit that he deserves. So you know what? We're going to push off the next one until next week, and we're going to give Kelly Pippin the praise and the credit that he deserves. All right? So ladies and gentlemen, this is the last moment of childhood as written by Kelly Pippin. I had graduated from high school and already signed up for the Army. My mother was as proud as she could be. She beamed at the fact that her eldest son would be a protector of this great nation. Her tears streamed down as the recruiter rolled up on that sweltering August day. My grandfather stood proud and anxious. Dad just smiled and hugged me. My brothers, as ornery as ever, just slapped my back and said, "See you soon." My grandmother stood silent, like she was reliving Grandpa's departure during the war. I hugged her gently and said, "I'll be back." As the government car turned the corner away from everyone, I began to cry. The pain of leaving all I knew set in. The recruiter stopped the car and said, "I can turn around now," as if he was reading every thought I had at that moment. I'm sure he had seen it 100 times. I wiped away the tears and looked him in the eye. Something changed right there. Inside of me was a determination I had never felt before. A spring of courage and steel broke through. I said, "That won't be necessary. I have a promise to keep and a job to do." In my mind, I had put away childish things. In my heart, I had grown. In my mind, I was a man. Now, let me tell you what I really like about this story. It's obviously a very personal moment, right? It's not something that we talk about a lot. Is that moment you leave your family for enlistment, in the military, for, going off to college, whatever it is. But, that first time that you separate from your family for a long period of time, it's hard. It's real tough. And I think that it's really cool to write about personal moments like that and to share those. Now, there's no saying that this is exactly what Kelly experienced. He might have been making this up because that's what we do when we write stories sometimes, right? But you can definitely tell there's some truth to it. There's some nuggets of personal and real in there as well. So I really, really like this story. It made me think back to when I left for the military the first time, and saying goodbye to my mom and my dad, and my sister was already gone, and she smells bad anyway, so who cares? But, so like, it made me think back to, that first moment when I left for the military and what that experience was like. And then it made me think about the first time I deployed, and then it's just everything else, right? And I think it's really important to pay homage and tribute to those moments in time where we had to make the tough calls and, and as he said, put childish things away. I can tell you without a doubt, Kelly's still trying to become a man. He's kind of getting there, but just thank you, Kelly, for posting that story. It was really awesome. Sorry I didn't see it in time last time, but glad we had an opportunity to feature it on the show. So for next week, the title is Tension in Suburbia. So I posted this last week, and then after the show I found out about Kelly's show, so I never put up the submission post for it. So if you already wrote a story for this title, awesome. I'll put the post up as soon as the show's over. You'll just have to drop it in. C'est la vie, okay? To clarify for next time, okay? Just so everybody's on the same page, I'll put up the post, contest alert, right? Write a short story with the title, Tension in Suburbia. Drop it in the comments on that post. If other people share the post, or if I share it to remind you guys, whatever the case may be, and you comment on the shares, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to see it because I only check that original post. So, it's really easy. If you see a share, just click on the original post and it'll take you to it. No big deal. All right. Awesome. You'll just copy yours over. Thanks, Chris. Yeah. So like I said, anybody who wrote a story for Tension in Suburbia, hang on to it, right? I'll put up the post as soon as the show's over. If you already submitted it somewhere, which I didn't see it, I don't know why I didn't see it. Just push it on over to the original post and we'll press on. Okay, I'm really enjoying these short story contests. A number of people have asked me if I'm going to end this segment, and I'll tell you what, for sure, I'm not ending it until at least the end of season 1. Okay. Now, obviously, if there's a segment of the show that you really like and you don't want to see it go away, you got to tell me that, and you got to get people to participate in my games, all right? That's the way it is. That's the way it goes. If nobody plays, I end the game because I am the game master. All right. Anyway, so thank you for everybody who's participated in the short story contest so far this season. We've had some amazing stories on the show. Look for Tension in Suburbia next week. All right. On to our next, Junkyard's Got Talent. Here's another one of those segments that has been so much fun this season. We've had 7 episodes, 7 contestants. Now it's time for a little bit of a recap. So let's see where we've come and where we're going. What's up, Junkyard's Got Talent? We've had 7 talent contestants so far this season. 7 different acts. We've had singers, we've had a dancer, we've had bands, we've had music videos, we've had all kinds of awesome stuff on the show so far this season. But here's the deal. There's only 3 episodes left until we start the playoffs. That means only 3 more new acts that you're going to see this season before we start counting them down to the grand finale and the winner. All right? October 10th, and we'll start voting for our favorite acts. You're not going to have another show like this year. You need to see what's happening. Be ready to vote for your favorites. We don't want to see them get cut. We know we love all of our talent contestants, but there can only be one Junkyard champion.
Come on, let me see you take a walk with me. Just walk it with me. Take a walk with me. Come on, let me get that work.
Yeah, we fight for the freedom, the red, white, and blue. Future of our country, we hold what is true. So fly, oh glory, in the yard, day or night. And come for the service, remember why we fight.
Driving by my car, and the road is not so far. Berlin, London, Moscow too. It's my love, I tell you true. When I came to Poland, I saw my car was stolen. It was my favorite truck. I said, fucking kurwa mać. What you take for granted is fragile existence. What you make the most of this fragile existence.
And you know that it's just a sonata away, and you play, and you play, and everything else goes away, everything else goes away, everything else goes away.
Dry your eyes. I know it ain't fair. Dry your eyes.
crazy. Flat fucking crazy. Bad shit, I hear. But his music's not crazy, it's balanced, it's nimble, it's crystal, I'm clear. There's harmony, logic, you listen to these. You don't hear his doubts or his debts or disease. You scan through the score and with fingers on keys and you play. And everything else goes away. Everything else goes away. And you play till it's perfect. You play till you ache. You play till the strings or your fingernails break.
Thank 'em for the service, for a battle survived, the freedoms fought for in a country with pride. We fight for the freedom, the red, white, and blue. The future of a country, we hold what is true.
Big thank you to everyone who's participated in the Junkyard's Got Talent so far this season. Really looking forward to the final 3 new acts before the playoffs begin. Get ready. Tune in every Saturday at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time to see those new acts and to vote on your favorites starting October 10th. Alright, so as I said in that video, October 10th starts the voting. The way this is going to work: each talent contestant will be ranked based off of the viewership for their segment when it aired live. Facebook allows me to look at such things, right? So they'll all be ranked based off of that viewership. Then, starting October 10th, 2 acts will face off. You'll see them both on the show. Then after the show, a poll will be posted where you get to vote on your favorite. That poll will include both videos again for your reference, okay? The winner from that round will advance on to the next round, and so on and so forth. Now, just because your segment got the lowest viewership when the show aired live doesn't mean you're out of the running. Imagine it could be, let's say Ricardo Vienna is the segment that got the lowest viewership when it went live. I don't know, I haven't looked yet. He starts out in the number 10 seed. Right? Maybe he wins by popular vote that week and advances to the next week. Who knows? Maybe advances all the way through and wins it. You know what that means for you is you get to see his talent show segment 10 times before the grand finale. Okay? Season finale will be December 12th. That'll be our season finale, and the winner will be awarded at that time. Super, super excited for that show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Leading up to it is going to be an adventure. There are only 3 slots left. If you want to participate in the Junkyard's Got Talent Season 1, you've got to get me those videos. Get them to me now. Only 3 chances left. All right, guys. Looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Deanna Hawkins is a retired U.S. Army soldier and Medal of Honor recipient enjoying the quiet life of an artist in Portland, Oregon. Without her knowledge, documents proving diabolical manipulation of the American people, perpetrated by the government, fall into her lap. Forced to run for her life, Deanna must work with unlikely companions to deliver the files to the people. Sinister forces strive to stop her, while an unknown guardian angles for her success. This success could result in the Second American Civil War, while failure could cement the power of tyrants for generations to come. Under the weight of that knowledge, Deanna Hawkins will discover what it means to walk the thin red line between duty and death. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is the end of the world. COVID is upon us. The West Coast is on fire. There's still civil unrest all over the place. Everything's going crazy. Nobody knows what's going to happen today, tomorrow, the next day. The world's coming to an end. As I've said a million times on the show, the world is not coming to an end. It's not happening, alright? So, listen. Here's the thing. Now is the time where we show what we're really made of. Eh? As individuals, as communities, as a nation, as a globe, now is the time that humanity shows what it's really made of, right? I mean, think about it. This is the largest wildfire that the state of Oregon has ever faced, right? I don't know if it's the largest that California's ever faced, but it's pretty close, right? Basically, the whole West Coast is on fire, right? Communities are being burned down. People are losing their homes. COVID has caused all kinds of issues. A lot of small businesses that survived the initial shutdown of COVID are still suffering, and they're still closing on the daily because business isn't back to where it used to be. There are a lot of businesses that haven't been able to open their doors because restrictions are still in place, right? There's a lot of stuff going on out there, and now is the opportunity that we have to show what we're really made of, right? So kick back and ask yourself for a second, what am I doing to help get through this time? I know a lot of powerful people out there that their version of helping the world get through this 2020 madness is to kick back on Facebook and post memes making fun of it. And don't get me wrong, like, humor has a lot to do with humanity's survival and ability to press on and move forward, but it's not the end of the game, right? We have to be able to reach out and do something positive to help each other. Now, I'm not saying that you have to give away all your worldly possessions and donate all your money to charity. I'm not saying that, right? It's unrealistic. I know that. You know it. I'm not going to give away all of my stuff, right? You know, we certainly do our charitable giving, but I'm not going to give away my house. You know, we all need to set ourselves up for success as well. But the reality of it is that there's a lot we can do to improve this world. Yeah. Just be kind to one another. I've said that a million times on the show. If we are able to go out into the world and speak kindness to the people that we encounter, that makes the world a better place. I know so many people that create art, right? Well, every time you create something, whether it's a painting or a song or, you know, any of the talent contestants that are on Junkyard's Got Talent this season, anything like that, that all makes something positive that creates positivity in the world, right? The energy that you put out into the world matters. So just consider that as you're making your choices on what you're going to do on a daily basis. The more positivity we put into the world, the less impact that stuff like that can have on what we experience, right? The less impactful, you know, huge fires will be. I mean, certainly people are still going to lose their homes, but that's so much easier to carry when the people around you are giving that kindness and that love and helping you in any way that they can, right? Yeah, Chris is going to give away all his glitter. Absolutely. Okay. So just don't give it to me. I don't want your glitter. You know, we have to be able to be that force for good in the world, whether it's something, you know, that small act of kindness, picking up a piece of trash on the sidewalk, right? You know, whatever it is, or whether it's a big gesture that helps a lot of people, whatever is within your means and fits your talent. I think that's an important thing to consider as well. What fits your talent? Yeah. You know, I mean, not everybody's got $1 million that they can donate to, you know, a nonprofit organization. I mean, would that I could, but I don't, right? But we all have something that we bring to the table. There's something unique inside every single one of us that we bring to the table that allows us to positively interdict on the world. So figure out what that is and use it to benefit the world around us, all right? Short segment for you today, guys, but that's where I'm at, right? The world is not ending, but we have to choose to see it for what it is and be more positively engaged with it no matter what's going on. 2020 is going to come to an end in short order. 2021 is either going to be a crap year or a great year, and really that depends on us. Yeah? Just a thought.